and welcome to News Now. I'm your host, Taylor Inman. We're going over the biggest headlines this week for Northwest Montana. One man is dead and another injured after a shop exploded and burned on Kokanee Bend in Columbia Falls on Tuesday evening. Steve Hansen was killed in the blaze at the shop at his home, and his best friend and neighbor Paul Mason was severely injured, according to Tyler Hansen, who is Steve Hansen's son. A neighbor was able to pull Mason out of the fire, according to people on the scene. He was flown to a hospital in Seattle. Smoke from the blaze could be seen for miles. Steve Hansen is the co-owner and manager of Hansen Trucking in Columbia Falls. Kokanee Bend is a neighborhood south of Columbia Falls near the Flathead River. The sound of the explosion could be heard in town. Bad Rock, Columbia Falls, and Hungry Horse fire departments responded to the blaze, which happened at about 6:03 p.m., said Bad Rock Fire Chief Kurt Katzenmeyer. The explosion sent debris about 75 yards from the garage and broke out windows into the adjacent house, according to Columbia Falls Fire Chief Carl Weeks, who is also the fire investigator. While there was an explosion, officials aren't sure how it was caused. No foul play is suspected, according to Weeks, and fire investigators examined the scene Wednesday morning along with Flathead County Sheriff's Department. Katzenmeyer said firefighters were on the scene for hours and finally left the hall at about 2 a.m. on Wednesday. Tyler Hansen said his father was a mechanic and enjoyed restoring vehicles, particularly older model Ford pickups. There were several in the driveway. Hansen Trucking is a major business in Columbia Falls. It was founded by Skip Hansen, Steve's father, in 1991 and has about 55 employees. The company hauls chips and wood material from mills in Canada to the Weyerhaeuser MDF plant in Columbia Falls, according to the company website. The Flathead Warming Center filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Kalispell Wednesday following the city's revocation of the permit that allows it to operate. The complaint argues that the city council's decision to revoke the homeless shelter's conditional use permit violated state and federal law by undergoing an unfair and politically charged revocation process that took away the shelter's, quote, vested right to the property after council authorized its permit in 2020. A nonprofit national law firm, the Institute for Justice, is representing the Low Barrier North Meridian Road homeless shelter that was shut down following a 6-3 council vote on September 16th. The lawsuit was filed in the U.S. District Court of Montana in Missoula. An emergency order is also being sought asking that the court allow the warming center to remain operational while the lawsuit is pending. Jeff Rose, a senior attorney at the Institute for Justice, said in an interview with the Daily Interlake that the warming center hasn't broken any laws or violated its conditional use permit. Kalispell City Attorney Jonna Preble declined to comment on the lawsuit. Warming Center leadership and representatives gathered in front of the shelter on Wednesday morning alongside lawyers from the Institute for Justice to announce the lawsuit. A teary-eyed Tanya Horn, executive director of the shelter, said they are worried about loss of life and limb as the weather turns colder. Rose called the case unprecedented, saying he has never seen another case in the U.S. where a government has taken the same action to a private property that Kalispell took on the warming center. The Institute for Justice won a federal court case involving a homeless shelter's conditional use permit application in Wilkes County, North Carolina. The county in that instance initially denied the application, arguing the shelter wouldn't be harmonious with the neighboring community. The Kalispell Council's decision came after months of meetings and work sessions, listening to public comment both for and against the warming center. Neighbors of the shelter cited safety concerns and complained of littering, loitering, public defecation, among other disturbances by shelter guests. Counselors charged that the shelter reneged on promises made in its permit application, including the commitment to being a good neighbor and not increasing homelessness or criminal activity in the area. The lawsuit argues that the roadmap leading up to revocation lacked elements of a judicial process that would include sworn public comment, cross-examination, and documented evidence. Instead, council created a process retroactively to shut down the warming center without the intention to apply the same scrutiny to other conditional use permits, according to the complaint. The property was purchased through a buy-sell agreement relying on the assurance that the homeless shelter could operate there, according to both litigators and Horn. The granting of conditional use permits is a matter of grace, the suit says. The complaint argues that the city has no process for revoking such permits. An equal protection claim is also part of the lawsuit, arguing that the city is not treating entities that provide similar social services as the shelter in the same manner, nor has the city treated the other 200-plus permits the same by attributing all police calls near those locations to the holders of those permits. The complaint argues while the shelter has met all of its conditions, any permit violations can be appropriately addressed through a zoning administrator and the Board of Adjustment that is authorized to hear appeals. The warming center in the lawsuit is seeking $1 in damages for the violation of its constitutional rights. The nonprofit is representing the shelter free of charge. In addition to the Institute for Justice, which is based in Austin, Texas, the warming center is being represented by Crowley, Fleck, and Billings. Waiting under a large zipline tower, the screams from the woods reverberate against towering pines. The deemed Glacier Gallows Fright Trail near Columbia Falls takes advantage of the eeriness of a dense, dark forest that's chock full of unexpected scares, spooky set designs, and unsettling characters. For the first time this spooky season, Glacier Zipline is offering a terrifyingly fun attraction for the community. The 20 Minutes of Terror takes place in 25 acres of wilderness, capitalizing on the dense shrubbery and looming trees with unexpected frights at every turn. Leah McCormick is the mastermind behind the frightening feature, partnering with the Glacier Ziplines team who helped bring her vision to life. A self-taught special effects makeup artist of 10 years and a Halloween enthusiast, this dream has been a long time coming. The premise of the haunt, created by McCormick, is about a cult named the Night Stalkers who go off-grid in the terrifyingly hollowed woods they reside in and get into some unsavory acts. She added, "Your choices are basically that you either join them or that you're dinner." The consensus among many who survived the Night Stalkers' terrifying antics was that it was a great attraction with a plethora of frights. Portions of the proceeds are going to the Flathead Food Bank and the Montana Veterans Home. The owner and McCormick are both part of military families and wanted to make sure that people understand how much we appreciate being part of the community, she said. The event runs Thursday through Saturday throughout the month, with extended dates during the week of Halloween. Hours are 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Community members can purchase discounted tickets at various locations, including all Super One grocery stores, the Flathead Lake Alpine Coaster, Gunsight Saloon, and Spirit Halloween, according to the release. The Glacier Gallows at Glacier Zipline is located at 7840 US 2 East, Columbia Falls. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit glaciergallows.com. Thanks for joining us. News Now is a podcast from the Daily Interlake. We're proud to be the largest independent newsroom in Montana and the oldest paper in the Valley. Local journalism is important, and subscribing to your local paper is one of the best things you can do for your community. The Daily Interlake is celebrating its 135th birthday with a special subscription offer of only $19.50 per month for a home-delivered newspaper, plus full digital access to all 8 of our award-winning independent newspapers. Give us a call at 406-755-7018 to sign up today and do your part to keep community journalism alive and thriving. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode of the pod. Everybody stay safe and have a great week. Thanks to our sponsor, Lauren's Auto Repair at 1309 US Highway 2 in Kalispell. Most consistently rated 5-star shop serving the Kalispell area. Visit laurensauto.com.